We stole countries with the cunning use of flags. We just sail around the world and stick a flag in. You can't claim us, we live here. 500 million of us. Do you have a flag? No flag, no country. You can't have one. That's the rules that I've just made up.
In 1773, working people dumped tea belonging to the largest corporation in the world into Boston Harbor. Today we call it the Boston Tea Party, but other towns stood up to corporate rule over the American colonies as well. Other cities turned away the British East India Corporation's cargo ships from unloading their wares, in Philadelphia and New York too. Signing their rants with pseudonyms, secret organizations like the Sons of Liberty excoriated the empire's giant corporation on broad parchments that were posted in public places all along the Atlantic seaboard. Meanwhile, the money power of the colonies sought regular flows of passive income from land sales and rents, along with dividends from war bonds they hoped to fund from new taxes on common laborers and small farmers once the revolution was finished. Peasant soldiers filled the ranks of Washington's amateur militia. They'd been encouraged to revolt because of tax policies that routinely transferred wealth up the social ladder and into corporate coffers. Their reasons for joining the revolution were not the same as ambitious men like Madison, Jay, Washington, and Hamilton. Cleverly and without conscience, those of the Federalist ilk remained silent on their plans for governing after the revolution. They coveted something none of the revolutionaries had signed on to achieve, an empire of their own. And the British Empire stood in the way of those daydreams, just as it stood in the way of the democratic society desired by the radicals. It seems plausible that it was Adam Smith's publication of The Wealth of Nations and not Paine's Common Sense that inspired the Proto-Federalists to adopt the 13 red and white striped corporate logo of the British East India Company as the flag of the Confederation of 13 sovereign states that were on the verge of being born by the rebellion. Imagine adopting a national flag today whose colors and symbols mirrored that of Amazon, or Exxon, or Microsoft. Adoption of the emblem marked the beginning of our historic conflation of the aspirations of the radical revolutionaries with the free trade designs of Federalist land speculators and enslavers. The Sons of Liberty muddied the waters by having used a flag with 9 red and white stripes and no field to symbolize the 9 colonies that once had convened the Stamp Act Congress in 1765. They called that banner the Rebellious Stripes. But it was the indigenous Passamaquoddy tribe that petitioned the Second Continental Congress to adopt a flag for the rebelling colonies. They were instrumental in supporting the revolutionary cause because they desired to be recognized as an independent nation in North America. They were given assurances, and in 1776, their tribal sovereignty was recognized in the Treaty of Watertown. Then, in June of 1777, the Revolutionary Congress complied with their petition for a distinctly American flag being adopted. We should note that neither their sovereignty nor the revolutionary aspirations of peasant colonists would survive the Federalist designs for the continent. In adopting the flag that symbolized an alliance of independent nation-states, colonists could not know that Federalist plans included overturning the Articles of Confederation, which was the Constitution of the Alliance, and replacing it with the power-centralized Federal Constitution, or what is most commonly known as the U.S. Constitution. The so-called new flag design was adopted on June 14, 1777, by the Federalist-dominated Second Continental Congress, and without protest. It represented the new sovereign status of Britain's American resource colonies. Their sovereignty was akin to the sovereign personhood of the East India Company, the Hudson's Bay Company, and many other instruments of empire. The crosses of Saints George, Andrew, and Patrick, representing England, Scotland, and Ireland, were replaced with a blue field spangled with 13 white stars for each of the freshly minted nation-states. The revocation of each state's sovereign independence from a central government had not yet occurred. The Continental Congress adopted the emblem with a law that said the alliance of new countries represented by the stars was a new constellation in the firmament of earthly powers. On the need for rebellion, commoners and colonial gentry agreed. Beyond that, a mighty clash between communities of self-governing people seeking liberation from oppression, including Native Americans, and individualists seeking liberation from democracy, community-protecting laws, and social obligations would rage for the next 237 years as of 2026, under a constitution that only wealthy and connected white men had a hand in drafting and ratifying. If only we hadn't been lied to. This is the third video short in CELDF's America 250, a Revolutionary Perspective series. You can catch up at our Truth and Reckoning Substack and stay current by following us at CELDF.org. If you'd like to support our work, consider donating, and again, that's at CELDF.org.